The Welcoming Communities program is an Obama initiative and outgrowth of the New Americans Project. There's an organized, funded effort by far-left, anti-American, open borders groups to push for cities across the country to accept resettlement of unvetted so-called refugees from areas dominated by terrorist groups and drug gangs. Imperial Beach is a border town south of San Diego. Their leftist mayor, Sergey Dedina, proclaimed Imperial Beach to be a part of this network, which makes them a preferred destination for so-called refugees and illegal immigrants. Economic refugees are not legally refugees, but Obama is allowing almost anyone to come and claim to be a refugee. They are released into the U.S., and most never show up to court. Imperial Beach refused to accept their red star and had the proclamation retracted.
Really great. So this really means a lot to me, and I'm really proud of the fact that we are a welcoming city. We have wonderful council members, a wonderfully diverse city staff, and we pride ourselves in the city of being very friendly. So anyway, it's really, really great.
The proclamation was issued on August 17th on the sly, with not a single person in opposition to it. The representatives of the leftist nonprofits and progressive unions who supported it were mostly non-residents. 2 weeks later, 4 veterans and patriots found out and came to denounce it. Word continued to get out, and 4 weeks later, about 60 mostly irate residents came to the council meeting to demand that it be rescinded. This is a sample of their comments.
I've spent 9 years working on combating terrorism, and in lieu of many of the recent events, most notably what happened in New York City and New Jersey on Saturday, I wonder if any of the members here have any changes to how they voted, knowing that the nationalized citizen was an asylee originally from Afghanistan.
I mean, it's just striking to me how poorly executed it was, and first of all, you can't find any information about this thing online, period, anywhere. I just learned of it yesterday, just like many other people here, and IB learned of it just yesterday by word of mouth. And I went about town. Virtually every single person I spoke to had no idea that this was passed, that this was enacted, period. And every single person that I spoke to, that I mentioned this to, every single one of them were jarred by it. They were shocked by it, and they did not care for this at all. Like, it just kind of popped up from nowhere.
You're opening the door here with this proclamation. Just like a sanctuary city. I don't know why you didn't call it that instead of welcoming city. Because if you read them, it's the same thing. You backdoored this, you went to a back room, you said we're going to do this, you did not let the people of this community know. So therefore, I ask that you rescind this motion. I ask that you do not undermine the citizens' right to decide for themselves, yes or no, whether we like this. Put it on a ballot. Let us vote. If you win, I'll back you. If you don't, shame on you if you try to push it through.
When I learned about this proclamation and I started to do homework and try and find out what it was, what it meant, and where it was going, I really couldn't find any information. Just today when I walked up, somebody handed me the proclamation so I could read it. And what I've been left to do over the last several days after learning about this was to go online and to read it. I looked at Chicago, Raleigh, North Carolina, and other cities. What I saw was lack of law enforcement and lack of immigration enforcement. So really, where are we going with this? If this is a proclamation, why not make it a city law? Why not put it up for the vote? It seems very sneaky and underhanded, Mr. Dedina.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, you live in this city, history will judge you, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, in our time, little Muslim boys and girls are being killed in the Middle East. We must welcome as many of them, those kids, and their families as possible. America is a welcoming nation.
Legally.
Legally. Part of that.
Excuse me, you all have the time and the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Please observe decorum. Thank you.
All of you were elected to office to represent the families, the voters, the taxpayers of Imperial Beach.
Right.
You need to inform us. Mr. Spriggs, in 2010, you listed online that one of your things was about government transparency. I see no transparency regarding this proclamation.
That's right.
Let the populace speak.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, Earl Harris, Imperial Beach resident, Vietnam veteran. You guys went to school with my kids. Bringing in immigrants is what we're all about, but unvetted immigrants from a war-torn nation with full of terrorists and all that is not welcome here in Imperial Beach. It's not part of what we're here for. We have enough problems with the Mexican border. When you talk to the Border Patrol, they're even letting them in and paying them to come in, and that's what's happening here. You're all elected officials, and you can all be recalled. Thank you.
What you've done, as you know, is totally out of line. I also suggest that you rescind the proclamation. You are not a dictator. You are the mayor of Imperial Beach.
That's right.
I think you should act accordingly. Have your constituents, vote on whether we need to have this in our town. I love this city. Just as everybody else here does. Think about what you've done.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Thank
I think the right thing to do is to put it on the ballot. Put it on the ballot, see what happens. But my overall issue is really with the vetting process. We just recently, the federal government made an error and granted over 850 people citizenship in error. And the vetting process is not right.
I empathize with your father and what he was having to say, but the difference is the people that were coming from war-torn Europe and World War II were not terrorists.
That's
They were
right.
not from terrorist. If 1% of these people you want to bring here are terrorists, your family, my grandchildren, your children are in danger. We do not need to bring that to this city.
That's right.
That's all. Thank you, Mr. Walker. I'd love to ask everybody just to...
Yes, I've just learned about it 2 hours ago on my way back from work, and I'm just shocked, I'm appalled, and I'm really very upset about it. So I definitely oppose that sanctuary city, and it shouldn't be the way you are proposing. That's really, it shouldn't be the way you're thinking. So, that's why I'm voting for Donald Trump, because he's awesome. I love this guy. And maybe it's something for you to learn from him.
Yeah.
And I actually, because of what you're doing, I believe you should be impeached.
Great. Thank you.
You are an elected official, and it's my understanding that you also run a nonprofit. I think you should make it transparency about who's donating to that nonprofit, so we all should know about that, also your wife as well. There's a lot of things going on in the city, a lot of projects, and I know you're behind a lot of them, and I would like to see who's donating to your agency and what interest they have. So I challenge you tonight to make that public. So I would like you to rescind this proclamation, and I'd like you to respect the residents of Imperial Beach. We are the majority here.
Mr. Quinn,
listen to what we have to say. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
We are the United States of America. These people who are coming as refugees have been in internment camps waiting to get somewhere, right?
Oh
They are vetted. So if you look
Excuse me, everybody is allowed, everyone respectfully to speak.
So I think we need to listen to Michelle Dedina's statement of his experience of coming here. The people that are coming here are vetted. They aren't allowed on the shores unless, yeah, they are. And
No, they're not.
Donald Trump,
And I want to pose a question for because I see a lot of anger.
10 seconds.
I want to know how much of this has to do with the fact that people are brown from the Middle East. If they were from Europe, they were lighter skin, would that be an issue?
Thank you so much. And we have Jan Hargrave.
You said your family fled Europe, but during that time, the United States took in very few refugees from Nazi Germany, fascist Italy, or Japan, because we were at war with those countries. And we knew the governments would infiltrate spies or saboteurs. But we've always taken in refugees and immigrants throughout our history. And I think we can speak out and say this is not a wise idea without being saying that we are bigots, racist, this or that, or saying hateful things.
Behind closed doors,
Okay,
yes.
not in public.
Not in public.
You
but
weren't here for the meeting. You
Can
missed
I
the
speak,
meeting.
please? The fact is that partisan politics does not belong in these chambers. When we step into these chambers, our partisan affiliation goes completely out the door. And something as polarizing as this, and I am a grandchild of an immigrant, but when it's a federal partisan issue and something that has polarized our country so much should not be brought into these chambers.
But you could have attended the meeting to make that statement.
Well, Mr.
You skipped
Dedina,
it.
unfortunately, I work for a living, so I had to stay late in order to
But you
pay
skipped the
bills.
meeting. So you could have made that statement. You could have asked for it to be pulled, but you skipped the meeting.
You could have understood what you were
Excuse me,
doing wrong.
excuse me.